The cold metal floor felt like ice against Jake Morrison's face as his eyes slowly opened. His body hurt everywhere. His mouth tasted like metal and old medicine. The air around him was thick and smelled strange. Red lights blinked on and off, in the darkness. Jake tried to move, but his arms and legs felt heavy. Very heavy. Like someone had filled them with rocks. He could hear machines making noise somewhere nearby. Beeping sounds. Humming sounds. The sounds machines make when they "Work hard, Captain Morrison," a voice said from nowhere. It was not human, it sounded like a computer. "You are awake. Please remain still. Your body needs time to adjust." Jake remembered that voice. Atlas. The ship's computer brain. But why was Atlas talking to him? And why did everything hurt so much? "Atlas," Jake said. His voice sounded rough and broken. "What happened? Where am I?" "You are in Cryo Bay 7 aboard the ship Leviathan. You have been sleeping for 312 years, 4 months, and 16 days. 300 years?" The words hit Jake like a punch to the stomach. He tried to sit up, but his body would not listen. His head spun around and around. "The emergency wake-up system started working 2 hours ago," Atlas continued. "Long-range sensors found alien ships coming toward us. They will be here in 18 hours. Jake closed his eyes and tried to think. Slowly, pieces of his memory came back. The war. The terrible war against the alien armies. Earth was losing. All the human worlds were losing. The order to retreat. The order to sleep until it was safe to wake up. But 300 years? That was too long. Much too long. "Atlas, what about Earth? What about the other human ships?" The computer was quiet for a long time. "Too long. I have no contact with Earth or any human ships, Captain. All communication channels are silent." Jake felt cold inside his chest. Colder than the metal floor. Colder than the air around him. Other people were waking up around him. He could hear them making sounds, groaning, coughing. Someone was crying. The cryopods were opening one by one. Steam poured out of each one like white smoke. "Jake? Jake Morrison, is that you?" A woman's voice, weak but familiar. "Amy?" Jake turned his head. It hurt to move, but he had to see. Dr. Amy Blake was sitting up in the pod next to his. Her long brown hair was a mess. Her face looked pale and tired. But she was alive. "I feel terrible," Amy said. "How long were we asleep?" "Over 300 years, Jake said. Amy's eyes went wide. "That's impossible. The cryo system was only designed for 50 years maximum." "Tell that to Atlas," Jake said. More people were waking up now. The big room was full of movement and voices. Jake could see Ryan Cole trying to stand up. Lisa Park was checking her hands and arms like she could not believe they were real. All around them, the crew of the Leviathan was coming back to life. But something was wrong. Jake could feel it. The ship felt different, it sounded different, the engines were too quiet, the lights were too dim. "Amy, help me up," Jake said. Together they managed to get Jake standing. His legs shook like tree branches in the wind. Amy was not much better. They held on to each other and walked slowly toward the main control panel. The screen showed numbers. That made no sense. Ship location, unknown. Engine power, 20%. Weapon systems, offline. Life support, minimal. "We're drifting," Amy said. "We've been drifting for centuries." Ryan Cole walked over to them. His face looked gray and sick. "Captain, I'm reading massive energy signatures approaching. Multiple ships, big ones." Jake looked at the sensor display. 12 red dots were moving toward them. They were still far away, but getting closer fast. "Can you tell what they are?" Jake asked. Ryan shook his head. "The computer doesn't recognize the design, but they're scanning us. Active scans. They know we're here." Lisa Park joined them at the control station. She was the ship's chief engineer. She knew the Leviathan better than anyone. "Captain, we've got problems," Lisa said. "Most of our systems are running on backup power. The main reactor is cold. It'll take hours to bring it back online. How long before those ships reach us? Jake asked. 16 hours, Ryan said. Can we run? Lisa shook her head. Not without the main reactor. We're sitting ducks. Jake looked around the room. His crew was waking up, but they were weak, confused. They needed time to recover. Time they did not have. Atlas, scan those approaching ships. I want to know what we're dealing with. Scanning now, Captain. The computer's voice was calm. Too calm. Ships are of unknown design. Technology appears advanced. Hull composition suggests heavy armor and weapons. Estimated crew per ship? 3,000. Jake did the math in his head. 12 ships, 36,000 aliens. Against one damaged human ship with a crew that could barely stand up. Captain, Amy said quietly. Look at this. She was pointing at another screen. It showed a map of local space. But something was wrong with it. The human colonies that should be there were gone. The trade routes were gone. Even the marker for Earth was missing. Atlas, where is Earth? Earth's location is not in current navigation data, Captain. What do you mean it's not in the data? All references to Earth and human colonies have been removed from the navigation database. Last update was 237 years ago. Jake felt the cold feeling in his chest get worse. Much worse. Amy grabbed his arm. Jake, what if Earth is gone? What if we're the only ones left? Before Jake could answer, warning lights started flashing all around them. Red lights. Danger lights. Captain, Ryan called out. The alien ships are sending us a message. Put it on speakers. Strange sounds filled the room. Not words. Not any language Jake had ever heard. It sounded like animals making noise. Angry animals. Atlas, can you translate? Negative, Captain. Language is unknown. However, their weapons are now active and aimed at us. Jake looked around at his crew. They were scared. He was scared too. But he was their captain. He had to be strong. All right, people. Listen up, Jake said in his command voice. We've slept for 300 years. We don't know what happened to Earth or the other human worlds, but we're alive and we're going to stay that way. Lisa, get me engine power. Ryan, bring up whatever weapons we have. Amy, start figuring out who these aliens are and what they want. And if they attack? Amy asked. Jake looked at the screen showing the 12 alien ships. They were getting closer. In a few hours they would be here, and Jake and his crew would have to decide whether to fight or surrender. He thought about Earth, about all the humans who might be dead, about 300 years of silence. If they attack, Jake said, we show them why humans used to be feared across the galaxy. The alien ships were close now. Jake could see them on the main screen. They looked like giant metal insects with sharp edges and glowing red lights. Each ship was 3 times bigger than the Leviathan. Captain, they're trying to board us, Ryan said. His voice was tight with fear. They've launched pods. Boarding pods. Jake watched the small ships fly toward them. There were dozens of them, like angry wasps coming to sting. Lisa, do we have any weapons online? Jake asked. Just the defensive guns, Lisa said. Main weapons are still offline. It'll have to do. Ryan, target those boarding pods. The Leviathan's gun started firing. Blue light streaked through space. The first boarding pod exploded in a ball of fire. Then another, and another. But there were too many of them. Some got through. Jake could hear them hitting the ship's hull. Loud banging sounds. Then the sound of metal being cut. They're inside, Ryan said. Jake grabbed a weapon from the emergency locker. It felt good in his hands. Familiar, like an old friend. Around him, his crew was doing the same thing. Amy, keep working on those ship systems. Everyone else, prepare to repel boarders. The first aliens came through the hull breach like water through a broken dam. They were tall and thin with gray skin and big black eyes. They moved fast. Very fast. But they moved wrong, like they had never fought humans before. Jake shot the first one. It fell down hard. The others stopped and looked confused. like they could not believe what had happened. Spread out, Jake ordered. Use cover. Make every shot count. The battle was short. The aliens were fast, but they were not smart fighters. They ran straight at the humans without thinking. Jake's crew cut them down easily. In 10 minutes, it was over. Jake looked at the dead aliens on his ship's floor. Their blood was green. Their weapons were strange. Everything about them was wrong. "Captain," Ryan called out. "I've got one alive over here." Jake walked over. The alien was hurt, but breathing. It looked at Jake with its big black eyes. There was something in those eyes. Fear, but also something else. Confusion. "Atlas, can you translate now?" Jake asked. "Working on it, Captain. The alien's implant is providing language data." The alien suddenly spoke. Its voice was high and squeaky like a broken machine. "You are the ghost stories," it said. "You are not real." Jake knelt down next to the alien. "What do you mean, ghost stories?" "The star killers, the planet burners, the ones who die but do not die. My people tell stories to frighten children. But you are not real." "We're real enough," Jake said. "What's your name?" "I am Zexthor, Admiral of the Hegemony Fleet. But you cannot be here. The star killers died long ago. All of them died." Jake felt cold again. "How long ago?" 200 cycles, maybe 300. When the Great Burning ended. When the galaxy became safe. Amy walked over to them. She had been listening. "Jake, I think he means years. Alien years might be different from ours." "Tell me about the star killers," Jake said to the alien. Zexthor's eyes got even bigger. They came from the small blue world. They had ships that could eat stars, make them explode. They burned everything, killed billions. The whole galaxy had to work together to stop them. "What happened to the blue world?" Jake asked. But he already knew the answer. "We destroyed it. All of us together. Turned it into dust. Made sure no more star killers could be born." Jake stood up. His hands were shaking. Earth was gone. Really gone. Not just empty. Not just abandoned. Destroyed. "How many of us escaped?" Jake asked. "None," Zexthor said. "We hunted them all down. Every ship, every colony. We made sure the galaxy is safe now." Jake looked around at his crew. They had all heard. Amy was crying. Ryan looked like he wanted to hit something. Lisa was staring at the floor. "Atlas," Jake said. "Scan this alien ship. I want to know everything about their technology." "Scanning complete, Captain. Their technology is approximately 200 years behind current Leviathan systems." "What about weapons?" "Primitive kinetic weapons and basic energy shields. No stellar manipulation capability." Jake almost smiled. Almost. "So they stopped us, but they never learned how we did it." "It appears so, Captain." Jake looked down at Zexthor. "How many species are in your hegemony?" 47 worlds. Millions of ships, billions of warriors. "And you're all afraid of ghost stories about humans?" Zexthor nodded. "The star killers were the most dangerous things in the galaxy. Even dead, we still fear them." "Well," Jake said, "looks like the ghost stories are true." He walked back to Dao, the main control station. His crew followed him. They all looked lost, broken, like children who had just learned their parents were dead. "Captain," Amy said quietly, "what do we do now?" Jake looked at the screens showing the alien fleet. 12 ships full of enemies. Enemies who thought humans were extinct. Enemies who had destroyed Earth. "Lisa, how long to get main power back?" 6 hours, Captain." "Ryan, how long to get our weapons online?" 8 hours for the basic systems. 12 hours for the big guns." Jake nodded. The big guns. The weapons that could crack planets. The weapons that could make stars explode. The weapons that had made the galaxy so afraid of humans. "Atlas, send a message to the alien fleet." "Ready, Captain." "Tell them this. The star killers are not dead. We're just sleeping. And we're very angry about what you did to our home." "Sending message, Captain." On the screen, Jake could see the alien ships moving around. They were confused, scared. They had come to investigate a derelict ship and found their worst nightmare. "Captain," Ryan said, "they're pulling back, moving to a safe distance." "Good. That gives us time." Jake turned to face his crew. "People, we just learned that Earth is gone. Our colonies are gone. As far as we know, we might be the only humans left alive in the galaxy." Amy wiped her eyes. "So what do? We do what humans do best," Jake said. "We survive. And we make sure the people who destroyed our world remember why they used to be afraid of us." Lisa looked up from her workstation. "Captain, I'm reading something strange on long-range sensors." "What kind of strange?" "Another ship. Human design. It's running silent, but I can see the energy signature." Jake felt something warm in his chest. Hope. "How far?" 2 days away at current speed. "But Captain, there's something else." "What?" "It's not alone. I'm reading at least 6 human ships out there, all running dark, all heading this way." Jake smiled for the first time since waking up. "Looks like we're not the only ghosts in this galaxy." He turned back to the alien prisoner. Zex Thor was staring at him with fear in his big black eyes. "You know what the problem with ghost stories is?" Jake asked. Zex Thor shook his head. "Sometimes the ghosts come back." 2 days later, Jake stood on the bridge watching 6 human ships appear on the main screen. They were smaller than the Leviathan, but they looked fast and deadly. His heart was beating hard in his chest. "Captain, incoming message," Ryan said. "It's from the lead ship." "Put it through." A man's face appeared on the screen. He was older than Jake with gray hair and tired eyes, but he was human, real and alive. "This is Colonel Rick Davis of the New Hope colony ship. Are you really the Leviathan?" Jake smiled. "That we are, Colonel. Captain Jake Morrison speaking. Good to see another human face." "Good to be seen, Captain. We've been hiding for a long time. When we picked up your energy signature, we couldn't believe it. A star, killer ship. We thought they were all destroyed. So did everyone else. How many of you are there?" 50,000 on our main colony, maybe 200,000 more scattered across 12 hidden worlds. We've been very careful to stay invisible. Jake felt hope growing in his chest. 200,000 humans. Not many compared to what there used to be, but alive, still fighting. "Colonel, we need to meet. There's a lot to discuss." "Agreed, but not here. Too dangerous. Follow us to Kepler 442b. It's our main base. We can talk there." The journey to Kepler 442b took 3 days. Jake spent the time learning about his ship's weapons systems. What he found made him both excited and scared. "Amy, tell me about the main gun," Jake said. Amy looked up from her computer. "It's called the Stellar Cascade Generator. It can make a star unstable, force it to go supernova." "How long does it take?" "For a star like our old sun, about 6 hours from firing to explosion. The blast destroys everything in the system." Jake whistled low. "And we have how many of these weapons?" "The Leviathan has 1 main generator and 2 smaller ones. The smaller ones can crack planets, turn them into pieces." "How many ships like the Leviathan were built?" Amy checked her records. 27 total, all supposed to be destroyed when we retreated. But some might have escaped like we did. "It's possible." When they reached Kepler 442b, Jake could not believe what he saw. The planet looked empty from space. No cities, no lights, nothing that showed people lived there. "It's all underground," Colonel Davis explained over the radio. "We learned to hide. Had to. The galaxy has been hunting for surviving humans for centuries." Jake took a shuttle down to the planet's surface. What he found there amazed him. The humans had built a whole city under the ground. It was clean and bright and full of life. Children played in the streets. People worked in gardens and shops. Colonel Davis met him at the landing pad. With him was a woman with short black hair and smart eyes. "Captain Morrison, this is Senator Maya Thompson. She speaks for all the hidden colonies." Maya shook Jake's hand. "Captain, you don't know what your arrival means to us. We've been waiting so long for a chance to fight back." "Fight back?" Jake asked. The aliens didn't just destroy our worlds, Maya said. They've been strip mining them, taking everything valuable. They think the planets are empty, so they don't bother to look carefully. Colonel Davis led them through the underground city. We've been watching them, learning about them. We know where their bases are, their supply lines, their weak points. But we don't have the firepower to do anything about it, Maya added. Until now. They brought Jake to a big meeting room. Around the table sat leaders from all the hidden colonies, men and women who had spent their lives hiding and planning. Captain, Maya said, we have a plan. We've had it for 50 years, but we needed a star-killer ship to make it work. She pressed a button and the room's walls lit up with star maps. Red dots showed alien bases. Blue dots showed human colonies. There are 47 alien worlds in this part of the galaxy, Maya explained. Most of their population lives on just 12 key worlds. Their military bases are here, and here. Jake studied the map. You want me to destroy their worlds? Not all of them, Colonel Davis said quickly. Just enough to make them surrender. Maybe 3 or 4 systems. That's still billions of lives, Jake said. The room went quiet. Jake could feel everyone looking at him. Captain, Maya said softly. They destroyed Earth. They killed 10 billion humans. They've spent 3 centuries hunting down our survivors. How many more of our people have to die? Jake thought about Earth, about his home, about all the people he had known who were now dust floating in space. What about the other alien species, Jake asked, the ones who didn't attack us? Most of them went along with it, Maya said. They were too scared to say no. Only a few tried to help us. And those few? We leave them alone. This is about justice, not genocide. Jake walked to the big window that looked out over the underground city. He could see families eating dinner together, children doing homework, people living normal lives in an impossible place. If I do this, Jake said, there's no going back. The galaxy will know humans survived. They'll come for all of you. They're already coming, Colonel Davis said. We lost the colony on Ross 128 last month. They're getting better at finding us. Maya joined Jake at the window. Captain, we're not asking you to be a monster. We're asking you to be what humans have always been. Survivors, fighters, people who don't give up. Jake turned back to the group. How many other Star-Killer ships do you think are still out there? Our best guess? Maybe 5 or 6, Maya said. We've picked up strange energy readings over the years. Ships running silent like yours was. And if they're out there, they'll be waking up soon. Looking for other humans. Probably. Jake made his decision. All right, but we do this smart. We don't just blow up worlds. We give them a chance to surrender first. We make it clear that we want our worlds back, not theirs. Maya smiled. So, you'll help us? I'll help you. But first we need to contact those other Star-Killer ships. If we're going to do this, we need to do it together. Colonel Davis nodded. We can help with that. We know where to look. Jake looked around the room at the faces of the human leaders. They all looked hopeful for the first time in years. All right, people, Jake said. Time to remind the galaxy why they used to fear us. 3 days later, Jake stood on the bridge of the Leviathan as it powered up its main weapons for the first time in centuries. The target was an empty asteroid field, just a test. Firing in 5 seconds, Amy said. Jake watched the main screen. A beam of pure energy shot out from his ship. It hit the largest asteroid and something amazing happened. The whole asteroid field started glowing. Then it collapsed into itself. Then it exploded in a ball of fire that lit up space for millions of miles. My God, Ryan whispered. Jake nodded. Now he understood why the galaxy had been so scared of humans. Why they had worked together to destroy Earth, and why they were going to be terrified when they learned the Star-Killers were back. Jake stood in the war room looking at the star map. Red markers showed alien military bases. Blue markers showed where human colonies used to be. There were so many red markers. Too many. Captain, we've made contact with 3 more Star-Killer Ships, Ryan reported. The Thunderbolt, the Nemesis, and the Ragnarok. They're all heading here. Any word from the others? Nothing yet, but Admiral Tony Brooks on the Thunderbolt says he's been tracking strange signals. He thinks there might be 2 more ships out there. Jake nodded. 5-star killer ships, maybe 7, against an entire galaxy that wanted humans dead. Maya Thompson walked into the room. Her face looked worried. Captain, we just lost contact with the colony on Gliese 667. That's the 3rd one this month. Aliens found them? We think so. The last message said they were under attack by Vexnari ships. Jake felt anger burning in his chest. The Vexnari, the species that had led the attack on Earth, the ones who had convinced everyone else to join them. Where is their homeworld? Jake asked. Maya pointed to a spot on the star map. Vexnari Prime, 15 billion people. It's the capital of their empire. Jake stared at the red dot on the map. 15 billion lives. But they had killed 10 billion humans on Earth, and they were still killing more. Captain, Amy said, walking into the room. I've been studying the old war records. The Vexnari weren't just trying to stop us. They wanted to wipe us out completely. Every man, woman, and child. Why? They were afraid we would take over the galaxy. Our technology was advancing too fast. We were getting too strong. Jake sat down heavily in his chair. So they struck first, and convinced everyone else it was necessary, Maya added. They made the galaxy believe humans were the real monsters. A new voice spoke from the doorway. Maybe we were. Jake turned to see Colonel Davis walking in. Behind him was a man Jake didn't recognize, tall and thin with pale skin and cold eyes. This is Dr. Kevin Martinez, Davis said. He's our historian. He's been studying what really happened during the war. Dr. Martinez set down a computer tablet on the table. Captain, I need to show you something. Records from the old human command. Records they didn't want anyone to see. The screen showed numbers, casualty reports, damage assessments. The numbers were huge. In the last year of the war, we destroyed 17 alien worlds, Martinez said. Not military targets, civilian worlds. We killed over 50 billion aliens. Jake felt sick. 50 billion? The High Command said it was necessary. That we had to make them too afraid to fight us, but Captain, some of those worlds hadn't even attacked us. They were just in the wrong place. Maya looked shocked. You never told us this. Because I hoped it wasn't true, Martinez said. But I found the proof. We weren't just defending ourselves at the end. We were trying to make the galaxy submit through fear. Jake stood up and walked to the window. Outside, human children were playing in the underground park. Innocent children who had done nothing wrong. Captain, Ryan called out. Priority message from the Galactic Council. The what? The government that runs most of the galaxy now. They want to talk. Jake sighed. Put it through. The main screen lit up with the face of an alien. It looked like a cross between a bird and a lizard. Its eyes were bright yellow and very intelligent. I am High Counselor Velthar of the Galactic Council. You are Captain Morrison of the human star-killer ship Leviathan. That's right, what do you want? To offer you a deal. Surrender your ship and your crew will be given a colony world. You can live in peace. Jake almost laughed. And in return? You give us the star-killer technology. We will use it to keep peace in the galaxy. The same peace you kept by destroying Earth? Velthar's expression didn't change. Earth was a threat to all life in the galaxy. The humans had to be stopped. We were defending ourselves. You were burning worlds. Killing billions. The galaxy had no choice. Jake felt the anger getting stronger. And now? Now you have a choice. Surrender and live. Or fight and die like the rest of your species. Jake looked around the room. At Maya and Davis and Martinez. At his crew. All of them waiting for his decision. Counselor, I have a counteroffer. I'm listening. You have 7 days to evacuate all military personnel from the former human worlds. After that, we're taking them back. Velthar's yellow eyes went wide. That's impossible. Those worlds have been settled for centuries. Then you better start moving people. And if we refuse? Jake pointed at the star map. See that red dot? Vexenari Prime? In 8 days, if you haven't started evacuating our worlds, that star goes supernova. The alien's face went pale. You're threatening to murder 15 billion people. I'm promising to do what you did to us, unless you give us back what's ours. The council will never agree to this. Then the council better hope their evacuation ships are fast. Jake cut the transmission. The room was silent for a long time. Captain, Maya said quietly, do you really think this will work? Probably. Not. But it might make them think twice about hunting down more of our colonies. Dr. Martinez was staring at the floor. Captain, if you destroy Vexenari Prime, you'll be just like the monsters they said we were. Jake looked at him. Doctor, they destroyed our world. They hunted us like animals for 300 years. They're still killing our people. How many more humans have to die before we say enough? But 15 billion aliens. We'll have 7 days to leave. That's more warning than they gave Earth. Amy walked over to Jake. Captain, the other Starkiller ships are requesting orders. What should I tell them? Jake thought about Earth, about all the humans who had died, about the children playing outside who deserved a future. Tell them to pick their targets. Military worlds only for now. But if the council refuses our terms, Jake paused. Tell them to prepare for war. Maya stood up. Captain, what if this starts another galactic war? Maya, the war never ended. We just stopped fighting back. Over the next 3 days, Jake watched the galaxy react to his ultimatum. Some alien species started evacuating the former human worlds. Others sent warships to protect them. The Vexenari did neither. They sent a message instead. The Vexenari Empire does not negotiate with terrorists, their leader said. We will defend our people from human monsters. Jake sat in his captain's chair looking at the countdown timer. 4 days left. In 4 days, he would have to decide whether to pull the trigger, whether to become the monster they said he was, or whether to let more humans die while the galaxy forgot why they used to fear the Starkillers. Amy walked up to him. Captain, long-range sensors are picking up massive fleet movements. It looks like half the galaxy is mobilizing for war. Jake nodded. Then I guess we better make sure we're ready for them. Jake stood on the bridge watching the countdown timer. 2 hours left. 2 hours until he had to decide whether to destroy Vexenari Prime or not. Captain, incoming message from Admiral Brooks, Ryan said. Tony Brooks appeared on the screen. He was an older man with scars on his face and steel in his eyes. Jake, I've got 6 Vexenari battleships heading straight for the human colony on Wolf 359. They'll be there in 4 hours. Jake felt his stomach drop. How many people? 20,000. Humans, all civilians, mostly families with children. Jake closed his eyes. The aliens were forcing his hand. They knew he cared about saving human lives more than destroying alien ones. Tony, can you intercept them? Not in time. But Jake, there's something else. The Ragnarok detected another Starkiller ship, the Apocalypse. It's been drifting for centuries, but it's powering up now. Where? Right next to the Vexenari home system. Captain Helen Carter is in command. She's asking for orders. Jake thought fast. Helen Carter. He remembered her. A good captain. A smart woman. But she had lost her entire family when Earth was destroyed. Put me through to her. Captain Carter's face appeared on the screen. She looked older and sadder than Jake remembered, but her eyes burned with anger. Jake Morrison. Good to see you're still alive. Helen, good to see you too. What's your status? Weapons, charged and ready. I can see Vexenari Prime from here. 15 billion aliens who think they're safe. Helen, we need to talk about this. Talk about what? They killed our world. They killed our people. It's time for payback. Jake could hear the pain in her voice, the rage that came from losing everything. Helen, there are children down there. Innocent children who had nothing to do with what happened to Earth. Were the children on Earth innocent? Helen asked. Did that stop them? Jake didn't have an answer for that. "Captain Morrison," Amy called out. "Priority signal from the Galactic Council." "Put it through." High Counselor Velthar appeared on the screen again, but this time he looked scared. "Captain Morrison, we need to talk. In person. I'm listening. Not over the radio. Too many people are monitoring. Can you come to the neutral station at Kepler 186? I'll meet you there alone." Jake thought about it. It could be a trap. But it might also be their only chance to stop a war. "I'll be there in 12 hours. Jake took a shuttle to the neutral station. It was a small trading post in empty space. When he got there, he found Velthar waiting alone in a small meeting room. The alien leader looked tired. His yellow eyes were dim with worry. "Captain Morrison, I need to tell you something. Something the Council doesn't know I'm telling you." Jake sat down across from him. "I'm listening." The attack on Earth wasn't the Council's idea. It was the Vexnari. They convinced everyone else it was necessary. But many of us voted against it. But you went along with it anyway. We were afraid. The Vexnari said if we didn't help, they would attack us next. They had the biggest fleet in the galaxy. Jake felt a small spark of hope. And now? Now they're still the biggest threat. Captain, if you destroy Vexnari Prime, you'll make them martyrs. The rest of the galaxy will unite against you again. Then what do you suggest? Velthar leaned forward. Help us remove the Vexnari from power, peacefully if possible, but if not. He paused. There are many species who would be happy to see them gone. In exchange for what? Your people get their worlds back, full independence, no more hunting, no more killing. Jake thought about it. It sounded too good to be true. What about the Vexnari fleet heading for Wolf 359? I'll call them back immediately. No more attacks on human colonies. Jake made his decision. All right, but if this is a trick, if any more humans die, I'll turn every Vexnari world into burning dust. Understood. When Jake got back to the Leviathan, he found his crew waiting for news. What did he want? Amy asked. To make a deal. The Council will help us remove the Vexnari leadership. In exchange, we get our worlds back. Maya looked suspicious. And you trust them? No. But it's better than starting another galactic war. Over the next week, Jake watched as the galaxy split apart. Some species supported the Council's new plan. Others sided with the Vexnari. A few declared neutrality and tried to stay out of it. The Vexnari Empire was strong but not strong enough to fight everyone. When 3 other major species joined the Council against them, their government fell apart. The Vexnari military tried to fight. They attacked the Council fleet and human colonies, but they were outnumbered now, and they had forgotten one important thing. Humans knew how to fight back. Jake watched from the bridge as Captain Carter's ship, the Apocalypse, destroyed a Vexnari battle fleet. The aliens had expected an easy victory. Instead, they found death waiting for them in the dark. Captain, Ryan reported, the last Vexnari stronghold just surrendered. Admiral Brooks is accepting their surrender now. Jake nodded. The war was over again. But this time humans had won. 6 months later, Jake stood on the observation deck of a space station orbiting New Terra. It was one of the first human worlds to be returned to them. Below, he could see lights starting to appear as colonists began building new cities. Amy joined him at the window. The Council kept their word. All 23 former human worlds are ours again. What about the Vexnari? Exile. They've been given one system on the edge of the galaxy. Far from everyone else, Jake thought about that. Exile instead of extinction. Mercy instead of revenge. Maybe humans had learned something after all. Amy, how many Star Killer ships do we have now? 7 total. All operational. The crews are asking what they should do now. Jake looked out at the stars. Millions of them. Each one a sun that could warm worlds and give life. Or be turned into a weapon that could destroy everything. Tell them to explore. Find new worlds for humans to settle, but keep the weapons ready. In case we need them again, Jake nodded. The galaxy remembers why they used to fear us. Let's make sure they also remember why they should respect us." Amy smiled. "So what's next for you, Captain?" Jake looked down at New Terra, at the lights growing brighter as more humans came home. "I think I'll stick around, help build something new, something better than what we had before." He thought about Earth, about all the people who had died, about the long years of hiding and fear. The humans were home again, and this time they would be ready for whatever came next. In the darkness between stars, the Starkiller ships drifted silent and watchful, ready to protect, ready to defend, ready to remind the galaxy that humanity had not forgotten how to fight. But more importantly, they had finally learned when not to.